If this is how you film your videos, just please stop. So we are going to go step by step on how to think while you are trying to set up your own filming setup so that you can do it yourself at home. And in this video we're not going to use any extra lighting or anything like that. We are only going to use a camera and a tripod. That's all you're going to need, and you're going to end up with a nice filming setup just like this one here. But let's go back to the beginning and start from there. So why is this filming setup that I have right here really bad? Well, first of all, it's super flat. Everything just kind of melts together. The background is really close to me, so the white wall here is just behind me, which makes it look really flat. So what can we do about it? Well, first of all, and probably the easiest thing to do, is to just try to separate yourself from the background. So what we're going to do now is move the camera a little bit further back, like so. And then we're also going to get closer to the camera. So we're gonna move the chair. Now you can see that we get a little bit more separation from myself to the background. And if we want to get even more separation to the background, we can use the zoom on the camera. So right now I'm shooting at 17mm, but if we do something like this and we go all the way to 28mm, you can see that I get a lot closer, but I also have a lot more separation from the background, which gives that nice depth. Alright, so now we have created a little bit more depth by zooming in, moving further away from the background, and you get a clear, nice subject in the foreground and a blurry background, which is great. But this setup is still kind of boring because you just have a flat white surface behind me. So what can we do to improve that even more? Try to look around in your apartment, your room, or whatever it is, and try to find which part of the room is going to look the nicest in the background. So we are just going to do a quick scout of the room, and I know for my apartment this is going to be the nicest background for this room. So we are going to set up the camera here. Alright, so now we have just turned the camera 90 degrees and we have a much nicer background. We have a nice separation from the subject to the background by zooming in, moving away from the back wall. So those are the first 3 steps in creating a better looking YouTube video. But there are still more things we can do. And first of all is, if you are shooting in a small space, I highly recommend you're trying to shoot towards a corner of a room. So right now I'm just shooting straight on with the back wall behind me. But if we just turn the camera 45 degrees to something like this, and then you have the corner of the room in the middle behind you. And this is great for a few different reasons. First of all, it creates more depth into the photo because it's a further distance to the back. But also you get some leading lines leading to the subject in the background. And this is probably my favorite filming spot in this apartment. But there's still one problem with it. And that is that we don't have any good lighting here. So if I was to use this setup right here, I would have to use some kind of lighting setup to make it look even better. But since in this video we are doing a YouTube setup without any extra lights or any extra stuff like that, then we have to try to find something better than this. And lighting is super important because right now I'm just standing in front of a blank wall, no lights or anything. There are some lights in the background. You have the windows in the back that just light up from behind, but in the foreground my face pretty much only has light that is bouncing, very bad light. But if we move closer to a window, for example, you can see that as I get closer to the window, the light is getting better and better. And with that knowledge, with the light from the windows, we are going to take another look at our apartment and try to find another angle that could work better. So in this apartment I have 3 big windows. I have this one here, this really big one here, and a small one here. And the first step would be to just go up to a window and try a setup right there and see how it looks. So let's do that. But before we do that, we are also going to turn off all of the lights in the apartment. That way we are only going to isolate ourselves with the window light. So let's turn off all of the other lights. So we have now set up the camera just behind or in front of the window, whatever you want to say. And it already looks a lot better with the lighting that I get from outside. And right now I have the window just straight in front of me, which gives me a nice even lighting setup in my face. But if we want to make this look a little bit better or more dramatic, you could say, then we could just move the camera 45 degrees or with a 45 degrees angles from the window, like this. Now we have the light source from a 45-degree angle on my face, which makes so that I get a brighter side on this side and also a darker side on my right side of my face. So you get some nice shadows from the nose casting to the other side. This gives it a bit more dramatic and dynamic look and lighting setup for your face. So now we have talked about a lot of different things. We have talked about how to separate yourself from the background, how to find the best angle in your room, and then how to think about lighting when you don't have a lighting setup. But if you are using a window as your main light source, try to film on days where there are some overcast, where you have clouds out, because if it is sunny, you will get some not so nice looking shadows and the light is going to change a lot while you are filming. So try to film when it's gray outside, because then you are going to have the best lighting setup indoors. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you learned something, please let me know down in the comments, or whatever you do, leave a like, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.